Welcome to the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. Today on the show we have Master D, owner-operator of Fight Prime Training Center at 1820 South Park, Madison, Wisconsin. He is a first-degree black belt in Jiu Jitsu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you, Mr. Master D? So we're here, guys. What's up, Coach? We're here today with the legend. This guy is a legend, Master D. And we're going to talk a bunch of very funny stories about Master D, which is a great friend, somebody that I have lots of respect. I was someone that I always told everybody that Master D never gave up. And we're going to talk a little bit of his story, when he started, how he started. And we have some fun stuff for you guys.
That's correct.
Here we go.
So, just so you guys know, normally we do this I'm on Facebook right now, on my Facebook Live. So we do a little bit of that so people know what we're doing for about, I would say 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. And then after that, if you guys want to follow us, go to YouTube, okay? And you check us out, subscribe and like on the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. And today we have Master D. Master D is someone that I met many years ago, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit. When did actually you started? Because now he's a black belt, Mazinho. He's a black belt on the LCCT, right? But he started over with John Hines, which is also another black belt from us. That's the owner of Monkey Bar Gym, and also in Madison. So D, thanks for being here. It's a pleasure. It's being a pleasure, it's an honor to have you on the family, to have you on the association. But the most important thing, man, how we met and how we grew up this friendship that became more of a brotherhood, the good and the bad things we passed. So today we're here to share the fun stories, the sad stories, the wins, the losses, and all that stuff that people are always interested to know. I always tell people that Master D, man, I never hear Master D saying, no, I can't do, no, I won't do. I always hear Master D saying, yep, that's right, that's correct, that's correct, that's right. So Master D, man, he is...
I need to say, I call him the phone and it's the shortest conversation. That's correct, yes, okay, bye.
So guys, as you can see, it's going to be fun. Let's bring it up. So Master D, please share with us, what year did you start Jiu-Jitsu, where, right? And how old were you? Because people always talk about, oh my God, I'm too old, I can't do this, I'm too old. I got people in my gym, and for sure you got people in your gym saying, oh, I'm too old, I can't do this. And so please share with us, how old did you start? Where did you start? And why did you start Jiu-Jitsu?
That's a good question. I had, in fact, there's a good member, we call him Big Bill, and he was sitting alongside and I was talking to him and go he just took class. He goes, what do you think of this? Oh, this is great, but I can't do it. I go, why? Oh, I'm too old. And he goes oh, how old are you? He goes, oh man, I'm 55. I can't do this anymore. I go, well, I got you beat. I'm 66. He goes, okay. I'm way out of shape. I can't do anything. I says, you have no idea how bad it was when I started. When I showed up with my original instructor, they were filled with all kinds of athletes, pro athletes, and they went, what are you doing here? I was the size of Santa Claus, and they do things like, okay, roll backwards, and I go, I don't do that. But I'll try. And they all standing around me, and they go, okay, just sit down carefully. Now fall backwards. Go. And I go, I'm telling my legs to do it, but it's not going. No. And they started laughing. They go just fall backwards. I go, my body says, it's not going to go. So I told them, you're going to have to push me. They went, what? I go, push me. I'll fall backwards. I'll get used to it. They laugh. They push me backwards. And eventually I can learn to go backwards. My body go, okay, I'm going backwards. Do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And, I could, took me a long time to do anything.
Yes.
I wasn't flexible. I was old. I had no athletic abilities at all. So somebody comes in and goes, I can't do it. And I go like, oh, I got you beat. You have no idea. Go to any of my original students, instructors, and ask them how bad I was. It was actually 3 years later, the original guys that were there said, we got to tell you something. What? We got to just tell you because we feel guilty. And I go, what? After each class that you did when you started, after you left, we used to take a vote as to whether you'd come to their class because you're so bad.
Taking bets on you, huh?
And I go like, what? They go like, you were bad. Okay, I agree with that. Okay. And we did that for 3.5 months. You kept coming. After 3.5 months, it said, I think you'll come to the next class. And I like virtually outlasted almost everybody.
So everybody, and so in other words, everybody
Yeah.
thought you were gonna quit.
Oh yeah, there's no way. They just looked at me and goes, no way he can do this. He's so out of shape. He can't do anything.
And how? Okay, so
And I started when I was 42.
so you started when you're 42, and
Yes.
how old are you now?
I'm 66.
Wow, you've been doing jiu-jitsu that
Yeah,
long,
yeah.
man, and I know your ass for that long. That's crazy. How come could actually handle you this much?
I paid you a lot of money during your ride. You said, I'm not getting paid enough.
And trust me, it was not enough. Trust me. For what actually he got from jiu-jitsu and how I changed his life, not even close.
So when we first met,
Okay, so before
Yes.
we go there,
Yeah.
so what school first you started? I know you started with the Monkey Bar Gym
Yes.
with John Hines,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so that's when you're 42 and now you're 60s?
66, yes.
62. Oh, wow. Okay, so it's been a while in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
Right? So tell us. So the first experience was you got there and you're so out of shape and
Yeah.
and you were not athletic at all.
Yeah.
Right. And then finally you start doing classes, and then you met.
Well, I started classes right away. John said most people sit
Yes.
over and watch first. I go, I don't watch. I got to join. He goes, can I join? And John says, well, everybody sits and watches first. And I go, no, I want to come in, okay? And he goes, well, okay. And he shows me this one move, and he goes, whatever you do during this move, don't knee me in the nuts. I proceeded to knee him in the nuts. He got, if you know John, he got up, he got really upset, yelled at me, and I said, I just think I pissed off the head instructor.
I remember actually John saying that, because John was like, dude, I have this guy, and fuck, bro, he has no control of his knees, and he hits me in the balls every time, and then he hits me in the balls, and I'm like, oh, I'm in so much pain. He's like, are you okay? And like he would demonstrate no feelings at all. And John's like in pain. He goes like, dude, I can't, even with the cup, he hurts. So tell us a little bit about the experience, because this is what happened, and then I'll let him explain. John Hines from Monkey Bar Gym is one of the affiliations in Madison, Wisconsin, where Jim has his gym today. And I used to come down there and do some seminars there. And then that's how I met D. And I'm gonna let D tell you guys how actually that happened, because it was super fun. Because John came to me and goes like, dude, do you want to make some money? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He goes, I have this student, bro, he has no control. He's so hard to learn, right? And he's not athletic at all, like fuck. But I can't take it anymore. I can't do this anymore, okay? And he was busy too, so he's, kind of trying to help me out too, so it was a perfect combination. And I'm like, bro, how bad it can be, right? So as soon as he walks in and I look at that gringo, I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna be hard. But actually I always heard that there's not, and I'm not saying John is a bad instructor, okay? Not that, because he's a great instructor. But there's not a bad student. There's instructor that don't want to put the time, the effort. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we're busy and we can take everybody. But I want you to tell us the story. So John came to me and said, "You want to make some privates?" I'm like, "Yes." So yes.
John had to go someplace too. I went, Luis, okay, let's do privates. Okay, privates, doing one-on-one. Okay, Monday started doing them with me.
Yes.
And you started showing me something. We didn't do a private for an hour. We did all day.
Yes.
Like, all day.
All day.
All day Monday, went to class. It's okay. Tuesday, same thing. All day, went to class. Learning a little bit more. Wednesday, went to class. That night, I tapped everybody in class. And everybody went like, what's up with D? He couldn't even move before. And he's like, and then you got a whole bunch more privates from other students.
Yes.
I tapped them all.
Yes.
And then John was still gone. So Thursday, I took some more privates from me all day. Friday, I was taking privates. John came back from his trip, walked in the door, watched for a little bit and went, Luis, he's doing everything. How is he doing everything? What did you do? And you said, I'm just good. But what really happened is Luis, and we talk about this in Jiu-Jitsu, it's invisible Jiu-Jitsu. It's every little piece. John is an athlete, I wasn't. He could cheat a little bit. He could get away with doing things and it would work. I had to do every little piece perfectly because I was an athlete. I wasn't flexible. And I knew all the moves. Literally like the armbar. I couldn't do it. John would look at me and go, do it. And I go, like, well, my leg doesn't go there. And you just said, move your butt over here an inch, put your hand over here an inch, put this elbow over here an inch, and that's what was missing. And I couldn't see that. And John didn't know to tell me that. And I knew the moves.
Because for him it was such a natural thing. He could do that with no problem. Yeah.
And I didn't know, and I had to do it. And I got that from you over a few days. Mm-hmm. And I knew 99% of the move. It just, I couldn't do it without that moving that little extra piece. And all of a sudden I could do all the moves, so I got everybody. And no one else knew those other little pieces, so I got them all.
So then, because of you, I stopped making some cash. I stopped making money, a lot of money, right?
Yes.
So when John, I think I always tell people, one of the funniest thing ever was that on Friday, John walks in, he opens the door, and he sees him doing some, like a cartwheel pass, something like David wouldn't have done.
You did a cartwheel pass?
Yeah, he was.
Well, I don't know if it's that great.
He did it.
Yeah.
Right. So John opened the door and he goes, "Hey, Luis," and he closed the door and said, "Open back again," because he didn't realize that was David.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Master D," and he goes like, "Yep,
Yeah.
yep," and then he goes, "Holy shit, dude! What are you doing, Luis? What happened here?" And then, he started finding out that D was, tapping a bunch of guys that could never even get close to tap. And then suddenly, I start getting packs and packs of prize, because I used to come to, stay here for 10 days, 2 weeks, and then go back to Brazil.
4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks, yeah. And I started getting actually longer and longer, because of that.
So you and Thiago would both fly in and then come in for like a month and then just do
Yes, it depends.
seminars?
Seminars and privates and all that stuff. So that is pretty cool. And tell us what.
And then you
what-
said, hey, can I come down and see you?
Yes, we're gonna get there. My question to you now is why Jiu-Jitsu at 42? What was the reason? How did you find out about Jiu-Jitsu?
I actually took karate when I was younger,
Okay.
and then I left it to go into scuba business. But I came out and I go, man, I want to get back into safe.
So you went scuba now?
I was scuba instructor big time for
black
over
belt.
10 years. Yeah,
Like Hickson Racing?
like a black belt in scuba. I went
can't-
to Caribbeans, the liveaboards, everything.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, the scuba is still, it's awesome. You got to try it. If you've never done that before, it's awesome. But Jiu-Jitsu is probably even a little bit better. And you can't drown too many. You usually can't drown in Jiu-Jitsu.
That's crazy. I know that. I mean, I know a lot about the scuba and how cool that was and how badass you were that he became an instructor and all that. So, the reason you started Jiu-Jitsu, you were in the scuba business.
So I started up karate again when I was older. I just went, I was thinking, when did I have the best time of my life being in shape? You got to have fun doing something.
Yeah.
I'd like to think about things. I like to think about puzzles. I tell people this all the time. Technical people that are professionals that like to think, love jiu-jitsu because it involves their brains, their bodies, everything. You cannot get bored. You can never learn everything. If you're that kind of person, it's great. Nothing against a treadmill. Treadmills are great. watching the TV, putting on the earbuds, and not making eye contact with anybody, that's not me. I love to react with people and figure out puzzles. That's the definition.
So you have to have
of
that
jiu-jitsu.
engagement, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so anyway, we were doing the karate thing. There was one of my black belts at VHS tapes. He had some VHS tapes on jiu-jitsu, and we didn't know anything. We were horrible. We went in the corner and did some jiu-jitsu, and we were horrible.
Yeah.
And then John came to town, and he used to train with Hickson out in California, and I found out about him, showed up the first class, and beat him in the nuts.
And that was it. That's how it started, huh?
And then Luis showed up, so.
So,
And why did I do something? I
Yes.
never, ever for a second thought I'd get any belts. Like people come in, when do I get my belt? When do I get this that's belt? When do I do this test? How long does it take to get a black belt? I wouldn't have thought in a million years or had any, you talk about doing goals and stuff. I was just having too much fun. Just kept on going, and every time I get something, I go, oh, here's a stripe. And I go, oh, that's awesome. Great.
Cool.
The first time he came up to do blue belt test, the first test in jiu-jitsu, John announced it and says, oh, Luis is coming up and announced some people. And I walked up to him after class and was walking up to him, and he didn't say my name. He said, D's not nowhere goes to testing. And I was walking up to him, and you have to know John. We all love John. He turned around and yelled at me, you're not ready to take the test yet. You're not even close. You're not ready. You're going to have to wait until next time at least. And I went, oh, I wasn't going to ask about this. I'm asking about this. And he went, oh. We all love John. I was like, okay, your personal skills are not great.
You work on that a little bit. Huh?
Yes. We all loved him.
true.
Yes.
So,
What's really funny is, just a little sideline.
Go ahead.
Luis came up to me one time and whispered in my ear, watch this. And John's like a Superman build. Size, everything. He's huge. Luis, he's like a miniature. Compared to John. And he comes up to me and whispers, says, watch this. I'm going to frustrate John. I'm just going to lay on my back and just use my legs, and I won't let him pass. And John starts to try to pass, and he tries harder and harder and harder. And Luis is just going with his legs and doing this. And John can't even get close. And he's getting more and more.
because I have many legs, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
He goes, yes.
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 And I just had to go, wow, he's not even trying. And John's getting harder and harder. And I go, geez, that's great.
So, I mean, that's why, I mean, you have so many stories. So, what year was that you started jiu-jitsu?
It's 1997.
Wow. That was 1997.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I think I went back to Brazil and then I came back for the Rickson Gracie Cup. Yes, I came back and then I saw John, and that's how we hooked up. And John's like, dude, I want you to come to Madison to a seminar. And I think that's when I met you for the first time.
Yes. John was inviting all his other buddies from Hickson School, one at a time. Hey, why don't you come and do a seminar at our gym? And he trained with you.
Yes. Well, me and Joe, we go so back.
Right.
Wow. Like in the 90s.
John, tell me if this is true. John said he had set up a private with somebody at Hickson School.
Bull. Yeah, it was Bull.
Yeah. And then he had it all set up, and then he said, there's this little jiu-jitsu guy, and he's just tearing up the guy who's going to take privates from me. He goes, I think I should take privates from that other guy. And that was you.
Yeah, it was. He used to take privates from Bull, which is a great friend of mine. He's a brother, and then I was rolling for so long, and so I trained. And Bull was like this 200 something, and after he saw me roll with Bull, he goes like, "Dude, I would like to set some privates with you," and that's how I actually start, my friendship with John, and we became good friends, because he used to do my workout plans, and we work out together and all that stuff. And this was way back in the days in Cali. He was in Madison, and then eventually he moved to Madison. We kind of lost, we talked, but he's in Madison, I'm in Cali. And then when I went to Brazil, it was 1998, I think. That's when I saw him at the tournament, if I'm not wrong. I don't remember if it was 98 or 2000. But anyway, we went to Rickson Gracie Cup, and then, he said, come to Madison, we're going to do a seminar and that stuff. And then that's when I met you. So, you've been doing Jiu-Jitsu since 1997.
Right.
So tell us what Jiu-Jitsu represents in your life. How could you explain?
It basically saved my life. There's a lot of guys, look around and go, okay, how many 60-year-old somethings are capable of, a 20-year-old? Every once in a while, some 20-year-old will come into the gym and they'll go crazy. I don't allow that. And they'll come out and go, D, or guy going crazy. And I'll roll with them. And I'll be chill. I won't even hardly be breathing. And I'll wear them out. And it's not athleticism. It's technique that I learned from you, Luis.
Thank you.
And I tell you, there's one guy, he would go just crazy. And one of the students said, this guy's going to hurt somebody. And I rolled with him, and I intentionally just went chill, chill. And I was tapping him all over the place. And he's 20-something. And, I stopped and I went and he's going, I go, do you need some water? He goes, yes, please. And he comes back and I go hey, how's my breathing? Did I need any water? No. How'd I do it during you? Oh, obviously you know more than me. I go, oh, great. Why do you go crazy? Oh, somebody told me go 110% all the time, go crazy, because then in the match or something, you will it'll come out and you'll win. I go, but how'd you do against me? You go, well, you know more than me. I go, okay, you go to a match and maybe you get lucky going 110%. Somebody looks, oh yeah, he got lucky once in a while. But let's say somebody like me comes out and you watch him and you go, he had no effort and he was tapping them all the time. There was no comparison. Which do you want to go to a match and have people look at you? Do they want to look at you and go, yeah, he won hands down, click. Just like that? Or do you want to say, yeah, he went crazy and he got lucky? Which do you want to be? So I saw one of my students in the hardware store a couple weeks later and I went, that guy that went crazy? He was going with me and actually had me and he let go and he went on to the next move. And I went, I showed him something. I showed him how to go and do, this is technique. That's how you do everything in life. You don't come out screaming and yelling at somebody and going to war with somebody. You come out and you flow with them. You talk with them. You work things out. You work through things. You figure out, maybe it's not going to work out best or not. You tap all the time. I've gotten choked out cold more than anybody else I know. But you take that. But you both walk away and you both hug, you both shake hands. It's not war. It's jiu-jitsu. It's you work and you get better and you do things. And that carries over to everything else. When I had a normal job, there would be some customers come in once in a while and they'd be angry, swearing or whatever like that. And the first time I saw that happen, and the other worker went, I don't have to take that. I walk away. I go, what happened? Send all the angry people to me. And the first time they did that, somebody was really angry, and he left smiling. And they went what did you do with him? He could have got angry. He could have had a knife or something and done something nasty. I goes, yeah, he could have tried. In my head, I would say that, but I go, you have to do that in life. Yes. You can't be fighting all the time. You can't be you have to figure out how to do things. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But you have to use technique. You have to be flowing and chill. You don't just bang.
True. And I actually want to touch on that. I don't want to get into the field that you were in or where you worked or anything like that. But you worked at that job for, 20 years you said?
Yeah, over 20.
20 years. And then you just one day decided, I don't like this anymore. And you just left it. And I want to stress how important that is for people that are out there now that are working these jobs that are, 20 years in, 15 years in, 25 years in. And they're sitting there and they're working there because they think this is all I have. They don't want to try something new. I commend you on doing that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, leave.
There's two things on that. One is I tell everybody, USA, it's great here. Mm-hmm. But we have an attitude that we think, was special or awesome or something. Well, in some ways we are. But you at the same time, I tell everybody, got to get a passport and you got to go someplace outside the United States and not in a tourist area. And I ended up going for 5 years in a row down to visit Luis, and I wasn't in a touristy area. I lived with the people that were there, and I saw how they lived, and I saw how they reacted with the world, and I saw people that had nothing. You know, their house had sand and dirt for a floor. They didn't have restrooms. I saw people that were that, and they were pretty darn happy. And ask yourself, you know, are you happy?
It says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it really got in my head. Appointments, doing this, what am I doing? And going back to that, I on a Friday night, and I had a great job, paid me a lot of money, and you know I was good at it, really good at it. And I wanted the supervisor to go, how do I resign? And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I want to resign right now. If you have a couple minutes to give me the paperwork, I'm out of here. And he said, okay, you're serious? I go, yeah. He expected me back on Monday, by the way. I was in Hong Kong. But I said, I love you. You're a great supervisor. I have no complaints about where I was. But previously I read a book a couple weeks before that, and it had something in the middle of it among some other real life stories that said, you know, most people, it's good to ask, you know, here's a career, here's this. But it had you ask another thing. And he goes, whether you believe in God or not, it said, did God, or whatever you believe in, put you here on this earth to do what you're doing now? And nothing more than that. Were you put here to do this?
Just that question.
Yes, just that simple thing. And it got in my head, and I went, well, I'm awesome at this. Well, was I meant to do this? And I went, I can't sit in the cube anymore. I'm good at this, but I can't do this thing. And I didn't walk out and didn't have any money. I've saved my whole life, so I wasn't like throwing myself out in the street and starving.
No, but it takes a lot to do that, to take that step.
Oh yeah, to be in that comfort zone.
And he asked me, what are you going to do? And I go, I don't know.
Oh my God.
But I bought a plane ticket, I went over to Hong Kong, I had friends that were over there, went over to the Philippines. I went way up in the north woods where there were no gringos. No white guy. And all the way up in the northern hills of, I had some friends up in the Philippines, and I went like, I saw how other people lived. And some of the things that shocked me was, you know, they didn't put so much stress on, here's this appointment, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to be here, I got to do this. They seemed really happy, and some of them had nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just like, it was ridiculous. And same kind of thing when I went, and this was after I went down to Brazil, but that got in my head too. I would go down to Brazil, and I saw something beyond my normal.
Oh yeah, because he stayed when he went. He stayed, and it will be my next question.
Yeah.
When was the trip to Brazil? Okay. Why did you take it? Okay. And the most important thing, the stories about it. In the beginning you're saying like, hey, I started Jiu Jitsu. I wasn't athletic at all. I couldn't do shit. And then suddenly you're in Brazil. You start training, you start competing. And so I will tell a little bit, just the beginning of it. So he gets there, he's got these big ass glasses, like gringo size. He's got hair coming out of his shirt, like I have now in my beard. And his hair was, already all like getting white. And I'm like, dude, we gotta take you somewhere. We gotta clean you up. You gotta look way younger. He goes, what? I said, just shut up and follow. So I took him to this hair salon, and they did highlights, and I told the lady, say, hey, please clean him up. So he looks at me and goes, what?
We said, strip. There's women here. Why? We don't like hair here in Brazil.
He had so much hair, bro. He looks like those old dogs that had so much hair and they were white coming out. I'm like, dude, we gotta change this shit. If you're hairy this much on your chest, I can imagine your balls. So I'm like, I told the lady.
3 women there.
I told the ladies, I say, ladies, clean the gringo out. And they're like, oh my God, there's so much hair. They came with the lawnmower. It's like the chick has a big ass scissor.
Yeah.
One has a big one that, cuts the
trimmer.
tree. Yes. So when
Then they did the blonde hair.
Yes, they did the highlights.
Took me over to get new glasses instead of the big plates.
How big? Big? His glasses, I swear to God, they were like this fucking big, like this. There was 2 big eyes, and they were thick as fuck. They were so thick. And I told Thiago, my brother Thiago, I was like, dude, we gotta check. This guy is never gonna get a chick. You know, like we gotta look him up. Like we gotta. He's got beautiful eyes, man. You know, he's white, but his clothing, his clothes are so bad.
Then they took me to the store, bought me all new clothes.
So his clothes were seriously like he went to Goodwill, and it looked like he went to Goodwill and he went to the clearance section. So he was like, this motherfucker's so cheap. He goes to the clearance section to get the cheapest shit.
The dumpster out and back.
Like literally, the things that they were gonna throw away, that's what he was wearing. I'm like, this guy's never gonna get laid. Let's help him out. So, bro, it took us like 2 days because all the cleaning, the trimming, the glasses, the mall. We took him to the mall, and we do. So, short story.
So
go ahead.
I'm waiting out in front of the gym for Luis for a long time, and he finally shows up. I get in the truck and I go, Luis, something's wrong with my clothes. I'm standing wrong. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what. He goes, why? People keep coming up to me and talking to me, and I don't understand Portuguese. I think something's wrong. And then some of them give me pieces of paper and stuff with notes on them, and I go like, Luis has got the notes. I go, sure, here you go, looking through it. And he's looking through it, and he goes like, were they all women? I go, yeah, I think so. They all want to date you. And I go like, that doesn't happen in Madison. That doesn't happen.
Tell like here you were Al.
Here I'm Al Bundy, down in Brazil with Luis. I'm Brad Pitt.
We have a lot of stories of D and the girls, but I can't tell them. I can't. I have to keep a little bit of a secret. But this guy, he became the white boy Don Juan in Brazil because suddenly he started hitting. I mean, it was literally the chicks would come on you, man. Like,
you remember the one from next door at the real estate place? She wrote me this letter,
I know. And I was like, what's the deal? It must be the blue eyes or something, or the green card. I don't
Master
know.
D.
It was actually not. D is 42. He looks good, looks clean. He's like a playboy. Got the green on him. Right, he speaks English and he's learning some Portuguese, and the girls went crazy. So we did that, and then I also tell us, and we're gonna go back to Brazil, but just because we're in this, we're talking about the changing, right? Tell us when you got here on your job in your office, and he goes, "Hi guys." Tell them what happened.
Who's that?
So you walk in the office, right? Tell us what happened.
They go like, what happened to you? Yeah, drastic difference. The first 2, I'd go down there for at least 6 weeks at a time.
Yes.
First 2 weeks, I'd be dying.
Yes.
Because you just, okay, we got to get you used to the climate and stuff. Their gym, 110 degrees or
150.
Sweating. I was on a stationary bike once, streaming sweat. Pool underneath the thing. The other jiu-jitsu guys are pointing at me and obviously laughing. I go, Luis, what are they laughing at the gringo about? I go like, they never saw somebody sweat so much.
True. That's anybody so big too. Gringo was so big and strong. So you went down to Brazil. So I want to talk about this too, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about Brazil. So once again, you were not the athletic guy. Never competed in jiu-jitsu. You went, white belt, first stripe, second, third, fourth. You went to blue, and then now you're in Brazil, about to do your first competition. You lost 45 pounds. You changed. You're looking good now, and you went to fight the worlds, and you won the worlds in the master division. So, tell us, one, how was the training down there? how was losing all those pounds, and how was actually our first white boy American guy to win the world is exactly me. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and once again, people have to understand it, because sometimes they say like, oh, I'm too old, oh, I have this. You start at 42. So,
And not in great shape at all.
yes, so
Like, not at all.
tell us, how was losing the 45 pounds? How was training down there? How
Training
hard?
around there was like in a month, people don't do as much as you guys would do on you every day. And there'd be people. First, you'd wake me up. We'd go down to Baja Beach. We'd surf and do other stuff. Come back, train, and
We gotta
eat a
buy
little
one
bit. Go on a stationary bike. Then I'd pay a masseuse ahead of time, because I go, I'm going to fall asleep in the afternoon. He'd give me a masseuse, and then
No
massage.
happy ending, no happy ending, just to make it clear.
I'd fall asleep.
He would fall asleep everywhere.
Hey, they go, okay, then we're going to train some more. You go over to the rich kids gym, do that. Come back to the normal gym, be training there until midnight. Every day except for Sunday, you'd take off.
So how was,
And you'd have me running on the beach in the sand. Oh, that was hard. And there was like so much, it was doing takedowns. You just push somebody, they'd slip on the sweat. 110 degrees, no air conditioning.
so how hard was that? Because we never trained that hard before, right?
Just drink a lot of water.
I know you had other sports, and you were a skater, and I know you know your calves is the size of my legs, you know, so I know you work a lot, hard.
When I was younger, I was in Junior Olympics figure skating.
That's awesome.
John used to laugh about that all the time. I showed him my red and white outfit.
You probably look gorgeous with that.
Hey, when I was in junior high school, some of the football people gave me a hard time once. Oh, you're like that gay, you know. And go like, okay, you guys huddle among each other. Okay, that's not gay. Okay, I understand. And I'm going out with all the nice-looking chicks.
Smart man. Smart man.
Yes.
So, it was super hard, the training.
Mm-hmm.
You lost 45 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're ready to fight the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you compete before actually going down to Brazil, like a couple Americans?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
my very first one.
Yes, talk to
I
us.
came out, and the first guy I did, I was so nervous.
And I remember because you
and it was like, and I came out, and somebody put the simplest of jiu-jitsu choke, you know, just come up the collar and did this, and I just, before he's even done, I went, and I looked around and went, who's tapping? Oh, it's me.
That's how nervous you were.
I went like, and that was actually the best thing that ever. The second match I had then was this other guy. He was like an MMA guy that's way better than me. So he's gonna beat me. But that first one, I was just so nervous. But that was the best thing that ever happened. Say why?
Why?
I came back to Madison. I said I never want to spend $60 and go like this again. And I came back and I said, choke me. Come on, choke me harder. Come on. Choke me. Now people actually say I can't be choked. And sometimes I would even pass out. I just go, I'm gonna just do chokes.
That's one way to learn, huh?
And I go like, oh. And maybe I have some brain cells damage from that. I don't know, but I just go like, man, I'm not tapping for this, and I'm gonna learn technique. I'm not just gonna let them, choke me. I'm gonna learn how to stop every single choke. Do a choke on me, do it as hard as you can, and let's figure out every little move. Because again, come back to Invisible Jiu-Jitsu, one little thing. And some people go, well, you like not being choked. And I go like, okay, they don't see I'm doing the extra little Luisi thing, and they don't realize that they're not choking me.
Is this guy amazing? So,
And so if I wouldn't have been choked, if I wouldn't have been terrified and choked out that first time, I would have never I just focused on you. I'm not going to, no match past that point did anybody even come close to choking me.
that is awesome. So, just so you guys know, Master D will be on the Jiu-Jitsu Legends podcast on YouTube. Subscribe and like us. Normally I do about 20-30 minutes on Facebook just so you guys can have a little bit of it, and then for you guys to watch the rest because we got a lot of stuff. We got to talk about the words and all that stuff. So once again, Master D, thank you. And make sure you guys check us out on the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. Share, because this guy is a legend. He has a lot of stories to say. He's also a cancer fighter, so we'll talk about that and some other the experiences he went through. And once again, I have a lot of respect, and it's an honor to have him as a friend and everything else. So check us out on the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast on YouTube. Subscribe and like us, support, and we're always gonna bring you guys with people that are true legends, just not guys that won this tournament or won that tournament or just became a fighter champion. You know, you are a world champion in the day that you wake up every day and you go fight for your family, the day that you go work for your family. That's the most important thing. So D, thank you, and we're gonna keep it up. Check us out. Don't forget YouTube.
So going back to, well, what do you want to touch on the cancer? Or do you want to?
Yeah, well, actually, I want to do a little bit more on. So we're talking about the worlds. And,
So how'd that go so far?
Yes. So we just had started that. You know, you got to Brazil. You had 45 days. You're training super hard, and you lost all that 45 pounds, and you get in good shape, and. You said yes, it's there now. So
I understand.
So before we start the world, you say you start competing in the US, and then you get the first guy, the guy choked you, and then you back on and then and you go, Luis, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. Then I remember there was a story that this young kid beat you.
So down at this one big gym, and he was actually an instructor down there, and John was there too. He would play with me like a cat and mouse. He wouldn't tap me, and I'd move and he'd do something else. I had no chance against this guy. I had no skill compared to this guy.
What's the difference of age?
John said I had to leave the room because I couldn't watch it anymore. Please tap the guy. But he'd just sit there and torture me. And then I'd come back, and for some reason, I'd get matched up with him again. I'd get matched up with him again. I'd get matched up with him. I'd come back each time and go, what am I supposed to do about this piece? I'd go back, like with that choke. This part drove me nuts. What am I supposed to do? I came back. I don't know how many matches I did with him, and he just would torture me. And one time, I don't know if he had a little bit off day or he's too confident, and I was like, for some reason the guy, I came out and tapped him.
I remember.
In like 10 seconds, and it was he was in he was panic tapping, and the guys actually said, what did you do, D? We didn't even know you could move that fast.
I think that the first time you beat him, it was, I think he took your back and you crossed the legs, and you crossed the legs on top, and you almost broke his feet. He gave it like a really huge scream.
That was a different tournament.
Okay, so that's...
And you taught me how to get him.
Do you know how? I remember.
Yes.
The guy had the choke, and he made the right...
that guy was...
And then you made him cross his leg, because I have a position.
That guy was way better than me.
Yes.
I mean, he had tons of points. I mean, everything I did, he was killing me.
And I showed D, like, hey, if he gets your back, you're going to actually make him cross. Make him cross his leg.
And I went like, I got to do this fast, and I got to do it quick. He's way better than me. And I did just like you taught me. And I went in my head, I went 1, 2, 3, as hard as I could, as fast as I could. And I went, ah! And he screamed in my ear.
What?
But no one heard it. My team members didn't hear it. But they stopped it. So then it came up, you raise your hand who's winning. And they raised my hand, and all the members went like, he lost. Why did he raise his hand? He goes like, I got him. And it was a split second because of you. And he was way better than me. I mean, on average, he knew but it's like one little piece you taught me, and I did it quick and hard as I possibly could. And I talked to him afterwards, is your ankle okay? He goes, it's hurting a little bit. I did it hard. But he said, I made one mistake. I crossed my arms. I didn't have the heart to tell him, no, I crossed them for you.
Yes, he crossed the legs.
Yes.
But you did cross his legs. He didn't know. So it's something that we do, that we make. Actually, I learned that with Hickson. It's actually, you cross the guy's leg without him noticing. And then, like you said, he didn't notice. Nobody noticed. Nobody saw that. And the next thing they see is just a scream. Because
and back to the original guy that would go crazy and stuff.
Yes.
I go like, that was a pure second of technique
Nice.
that I learned because of you.
Nice.
And
Well,
that got somebody else that even had way better technique than I did, but I did it split second on that.
I always, so D came to Brazil, back to Brazil, and I want to talk about the worlds and all that stuff. And, D comes to Brazil, he's at the time already 42, we all a little bit younger, you got a bunch of, young kids, that train 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Besides Jiu Jitsu, run, surf, and
The kids were on real. You remember the first day you brought me there?
Yes.
You said, go work with Daniello. And I go, where's Daniello? As a little 10-year-old, not so
monster,
tough.
yeah,
He took me down, never stopped him to this day. Then you said, go over and play in the corner with the kids. Remember that?
Yes.
And I went like, wow, these kids are coming out one at a time and trying to go for blood.
Yes.
Little kids.
Yes.
And I got done after like an hour and I go, I'm done. And I went like, those kids were out for blood. And you said, I'll give you 2 stripes of anybody that can tap D.
It's true.
Did you have to give up the stripes?
I brought the gringo and I said, kids, kick his ass, and whoever catch the gringo gets 2 stripes. They were trying to kill him. It was nice, but once again, the reason I brought you here, man, is because your stories are so amazing. You're such a warrior. Once again, a lot of people think, it's really cool, to win the UFC, to win the Worlds, to win this, to win that, but it's not just a tournament. Life is the biggest tournament.
Exactly.
And I gotta tell this to you, and I always tell this to you, and I told this in front of all my students and all my black belts back in the days. I said, this guy, if there's anyone that could not and should not do jiu-jitsu, it would be this guy. And this guy proved me totally the opposite, the other way, that, hey, if you want to do something in life, it don't matter. It's as long as you want to do it, and the most important thing, as long as you have someone to give you the tools to do it. Not to do it for you, but to give the tools. And I always said to all the young kids back in the days, and I said, guys, I'm ashamed of you guys. This fucking gringo comes here, man, okay? He's training like he never trained before. He lost 45 pounds. He's in a totally different country. I never see, yes, I see he's in pain. He's sore, but I don't see him once a day. David, wake up, boom, eyes are open, yeah. Let's
Remember
eat.
your mother?
Yeah, yes, my mom saw him, coming down the stair one day, and she goes, oh my God, you guys gonna kill this gringo, poor guy. And he goes, as he's going down.
Like the little stairs, it took me like half an hour to get up and down the stairs.
And I'm telling you, whatever David stopped for like 2 seconds,
fall asleep. The machine shuts off.
bro, he could not take it. But hey, and you remember me telling this, and you know how tough, rough, I am towards guys that compete. I want the result, you know what I'm saying, and I want the commitment. And I used to actually use you as, this is a fucking example here of a guy that is older than any of you, that is not athletic, but it's here training even more than you guys. And you tell me you're fucking tired, you know what I'm saying? You give me this bullshit, and that would piss me off. And that's why, among soldiers, among samurais, you don't buy respect, you gain respect. Do you understand? And that's what you did back in Brazil. And that brings you to the first gringo we had in Brazil that actually won the Worlds. So how crazy it is, okay? How crazy it is. A guy that walks in the gym and the instructor thinks, oh, there's not, I had that before. And when I saw you,
you never know about somebody.
No.
Until I actually have a little secret rule I do.
Yes,
I go
right.
3 to 6 months later, you find out what people truly are made of.
That is
People
true.
can look all mean, bad, and great and whatever for the first day or the first couple days or something.
Yes.
Actually, not everybody, but a bunch of people that have instantaneous talent
Yes.
will quit right away.
Exactly.
And it's like, I had no. I knew I didn't have any talent. I knew I didn't have it, and I never expected getting anywhere with it. I just was going, hey, keep on going, and this is fun. Can I tell about the hospital thing now?
We'll get there. We'll
Okay,
get there. We'll
okay.
get there. I just wanna I don't wanna jump the.
Okay, good.
So, like you said, it was amazing, to see how big your heart, you know what I'm saying, how big was your desire and the passion for jiu-jitsu. And I like to say this in the podcast a lot because I want people to understand it doesn't matter. You don't have to look fit. You don't have to look good.
Right.
You don't have to be in extremely good shape to start doing jiu-jitsu or MMA or any kind of
And you
martial
don't
art.
have to win every match.
No, you don't.
John, I went with one guy, and he was way better than I was.
Yes.
One of my first ones. John was right there, and John was arguing actually with the ref and going like, "This is wrong, this is wrong." And I went, "John, come here." He won. He was better than me. It's okay.
Yes.
But the ones that I actually lost,
Yeah.
I went back to the gym and I learned more.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
And if I just will win it, everything's so easy, everything, I'm just going through everything.
It would be boring and you wouldn't do it.
But it's like, okay, this part, make note.
Yes.
This is the part I need to go back and I need to work on this.
And I remember when I would come
Yeah.
back to the States to do seminars and I had tons of privates with him, or he would go down to Brazil. He would come with this book full of questions and then we work like unstoppable, reps and getting down to positions. And of course, I want to get down to the worlds because I think that was really cool, how you won and all that stuff.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You're saying, "Oh, I'm doing this. I did this. I did this. I did this." I don't think I'm that good. I don't. There are guys that go around and they do that. The thing that I did do that everybody can do. You may be fat. You may not be coordinated. You may not be. You may be a total. Maybe the glasses is big. Whatever. You can't change a lot of those things. You can't change whether you're flexible. You can't change, but you can do one thing. You can go, here's something I need to improve on, go and work on it. Go over here, work on this. And then things will start to happen because the average person won't do that part. And that's the part you can change. You can decide to change and do things by improving those little things along the way. There's nothing miraculous that I did. There's nothing special. I don't feel special. I just went, there's a piece. That didn't work. Let's figure out how to make it better.
Well-
and anything in life, you can do exactly that technique to it. Maybe you're not as smart as the next person. Maybe you can't read as fast. Maybe you're not doing, but you can take some of those things and you can just take those little pieces and go, let's improve on those things.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Even though you don't like to take that because you're such a humble guy, and you don't like to put that. Once again, man, even I am your master, your coach, your instructor. I learned a lot with you. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing, like once again, in life, it doesn't matter if you're stronger, if you're higher belt. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? We all can learn from each other.
And just a little added thing.
Yes.
Because I originally did all this stuff when I was younger. I was in the when I was younger. And you can be young and fast and whatever when you're younger.
Yes.
You get older.
Yeah.
And
that's
a
what
lot of people go, well, I'm going to give up on life. I'm going
Yes.
to give up on
Yes.
things.
Yes.
What's awesome about jiu-jitsu, it makes no difference how fast you are.
Yes.
Makes no difference how flexible you are. Makes no difference how strong you are. You can do all those things. And one of the guys that I first started with, he was a capoeira guy, and he was amazing. He'd like flip around in the air, and I couldn't even get a hold of him to do jiu-jitsu. I reach out for a leg, oh, he's gone. And I looked, I went, I can't even do jiu-jitsu. He's too fast for me. And he's, 40 years younger than me. And I noticed one day he had long ponytails. And when he'd do his flips, they would be sort of like center. And I go, and I went down on the ground, totaling completely his youth, his strength, his fastness, his ability to fly through the air. was down on the ground, and I could do anything I wanted to him once I got a hold of him. And he goes, "That's not fair, you're grabbing my hair." And I go, "How old are you?" And he said, 22. And I go, like, "I'm 50 something." And it doesn't make, speed didn't have anything to do. He was amazing speed. I swear he was blurring in front of my eyes.
You understand.
You know, by the way, next week he showed up and used balls.
You understand in Jiu-Jitsu, you cannot pull hair. Just to say.
I understand, but I went like,
Not that thing.
I just went, it's fair. 40 years difference, I can grab his hair.
So this is the things that you that's why Master D, because
And if I was doing that, nothing yet, I love punching, kicking stuff. But it has nothing, all those things that you think you can't do makes no difference. Because all I have to get a hold of you.
that is true.
And then everything stops. Your strength stops. Your
Don't
agility stops.
You do
your
not
speed
let
stops.
Master D be on top. Especially position 3. If you don't know position 3, you should.
When I start to roll with somebody new, all the other guys say, "Do not let D get in top. Do not let him get in top." And I'm on top. And they're going, "That was miserable."
I remember you tapping a lot of people just by pressure.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to lose that part of the competition. So, you did compete in the U.S. before you went to Brazil. So, you had a couple of competitions. You lost a couple of tournaments. You lost more than you won. But then you start winning more tournaments. You were fixing.
I lost all the first ones.
Good.
And I met you.
Yes. Thank you. I once again, I gave you the tools.
Right.
And you work with it, you know. So it has to be a good combination. It doesn't matter. It's like this. I got my black belt under Rickson Gracie, but if I didn't work hard, because people think like, hey, you're gonna learn all this and you're gonna become a badass. No,
Yeah.
bro. It won't win. I always say that tournaments, I can put Rickson Gracie name on my back and walking in, people go like, oh shit, that's a Rickson Gracie guy. That's not Rickson Gracie. Rickson Gracie did his job. You have to do yours. And that's what I tell people. Once again, my idea of Jiu-Jitsu is not just for the new kid, for the teenager, for the adult. It's for everybody. For the girls that are able to do it, for the person that's out of shape, for the person that has depression, for the weak, for the skinny, for the ugly, for everybody. That's a joke. But the most important thing is, at the end of the day, we can become better. We provide people an amazing tool, which is Jiu-Jitsu. And thank Helio Gracie, man, and thank you Rickson Gracie, for sharing this to us, and we are able. And the way I change your like I said, I didn't change your life. I gave the tool, and you use it, and then you change your life, and that's a great thing. And now, you were working in the business field, making a lot of money, and now you have your own gym. And you are changing people's life, like you told me before. And dude, the friendship, the brotherhood, the things that we saw, we lived together. I mean, bro, that has no price. Those things will stay in our mind, in our soul, and in our heart. Because when we die, we ain't taking the car, we're taking the fucking Tesla, we're taking the Land Rover.
I'm taking the Tesla.
No, you're not.
They're gonna bury you in it.
So all that shit, man, it means nothing, But I guarantee you, man, the good times that you passed, the great moments that you lived, no one can take it from you, and that's talk to us.
People come through the door.
Yes.
And they say the world out there is the world. There's nasty stuff going on. It's like that. You come in, and the people that do jiu-jitsu, that really do jiu-jitsu, they say the world changes as soon as they walk through that door.
Yes.
You get a bond between them.
That is true.
And I mean, when you're sitting on somebody, you sit in their face, you get bonded with them for some reason.
So
remember when John and Talis or Chago were in John's place and you said, hold it? You remember that?
So, I mean, you seriously want to talk about it? So, think about it, bro. We used to go to we stay at John Hines' house, And I mean, bro, we had fun. Like, guys fun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Laughing so hard, stomach starts to hurt.
oh my God, like it would be like crazy shit. Like, we'd hold John, and John's this big ass 250
He's like a
pounds.
Superman.
Like a
He's
Superman.
literally like a Superman.
Like he's that freaking strong.
Yeah.
Do pull-ups and stuff, like nothing, one hand, one finger, and then you have two midgets against him. So we'd hug him and grab him. I mean, we good jiu-jitsu and, sit on his face and fart and he's throwing up, Oh my God, I gotta tell this. Before we go to the words, I gotta tell the thing. Okay, I gotta tell this story.
But you remember that I had him in the move.
Yes.
And we're
yes.
just practicing.
Yes.
And you guys started laughing a little bit, and I'm literally sitting on John's head. I got his arm all tied up in that, and it's a normal move. And you guys say if there's any time when you have to let a little go.
A fart.
And John hears us and start freaking out and go like, no! And you guys are saying, hold him, D, hold him. Don't let him go. Do your jiu-jitsu, hold him. And John starts like, I'm crying. Let me go. You can't even think about jiu-jitsu.
And then we start laughing, right? Like, you start laughing, you lose, right? And then David gives him a fart and Joe,
because we're laughing so hard.
and then we're laughing so hard because he's laughing so hard. He farts in John's face. We're all laughing. Joe loses the strength and he's sitting on it. He's a heavy fucking guy. And Joe's like, my God.
And he got up and goes, I can taste it. We were on the floor laughing so hard. He goes, and then afterwards, you held it, move perfect, D. Perfect. You didn't let him go.
Good job, D.
Good job, D. So we had like things like this, like we would, like many of them, and once again, bro, the friendship that it's like we become brothers. I always call it like the jiu-jitsu mafia, that, bro, it's for life. Like it's 20
when
years.
you do stuff like that, it's almost like when you're a kid
Yes.
or something like that. Some of those moments happen, maybe.
Yes.
But it's like jiu-jitsu just has that stuff happen on
Oh,
the floor.
if
We
it's
didn't plan that.
If it's a jiu-jitsu trip and you got a bunch of guys, shit will happen. It always does. You got a bunch of crazy Brazilian guys, a couple American guys, shit will happen.
And it's like being a kid again. You had those small moments when you're a kid. You forgot about them. You grew up. You became, this is what, I do now. I don't do those kid things. It's like, this is an adult kid time, man.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Yes.
So, going back to the competition, because I didn't want to lose, because every time we go there, we stop. Tell us, how was being Brazil after you competed in the US, right? And being for your first world. Tell us, how was winning? You won the worlds once or twice? Twice?
I think twice, yeah.
Twice, right?
Yeah,
Blue
yeah.
and purple.
Yeah. I
Okay.
remember the first one because the guy was huge.
Okay, so tell us, how was being Brazil for the worlds?
Uh-huh.
Right? You you had few gringos there at the time, but there was not too many. So you're probably one of the very, very few gringos that were there. How was the experience?
That's why I got matched up. That guy was from Texas, and he was a Texan guy. I'm a big guy. He made me look small. The second one, I remember the best because it was hot, and he just flew in, and I was already there for a bunch of weeks, so I had adjusted to the heat. But we rolled, and after the roll, they took him and he sat alongside the wall. He's sitting on the floor, his legs out, he's up there. He's changing colors. And I said, wow, in the U.S., we would have called 911, but no, it's Brazil. Here, have some water. You'll be okay. And his friends were fanning him, and his face is changing color. I go, I think he's having a heart attack. And I'm sitting there just, drinking my water and chilling out. I'm fine. And so after, he didn't die. It's fine. He found me later and he came up and goes, man, that's a great match. Yeah, great match. I goes like, dude, when you're laying over, I thought you were having a heart attack. I thought you were going to die. He goes, I thought I was going to die too. But I remember one thing. You were standing like 20 feet in front of me watching and sipping like you're watching a movie on your soda or something. And you weren't changing color. You weren't breathing hard, nothing. And I was dying.
Hey, I think the training, the loss of 45 pounds helped you, huh?
He was huge. Remember they
I
had us
remember.
filmed on
Yes,
TV?
Yes.
They went, these two giants are going.
Yes, they had them actually on the TV back.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whatever I think it was Sport TV back there. And
This guy was
yeah, like 6,
made
7.
me look small.
Yeah, 6, 7. But anyway, he won. So you won the worlds as blue belt, as purple belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was the second time? Because then it was purple. So how was the experience? It's like, I mean, you go in the podium as, you know, a gringo winning the worlds and bringing back to the States, you know, a world champion medal in Jiu Jitsu, which you're not supposed even to stay there for one day in the gym. How was that? What did it change? Did it change anything or no?
I don't think so. The ones when I win, it was like you win. The ones you lose, you go, gotta take notes. What did I go? And that's just the way I do stuff. I go like, the winning ones, they're good. You know, maybe there's something else I want to improve, but the ones that I actually lost, I actually learned them. I went back and trained harder.
Cool.
And I learned more things from those, because when you lose, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to quit?
Yeah.
Or you're going to figure out what you need to do.
Yeah, you don't quit. You always come back stronger. And talking about quit, we go to something that is actually a very serious thing, and I think that's something that it really affects not just, you know, the United States, but it affects the whole world. You know, you remember my dad also had cancer, and I know you're a cancer survivor, and that's something that I want to talk about it.
Right.
Talk to us. You know, this is you doing jiu-jitsu, so you change your life. You're eating a lot better than you're supposed to before. You know what I'm saying? And one day, how was it? Did you find it? How did you find out? Did you started with pain? Or I know it's really bad. I know how it was.
Well,
But
even
share with
before
us.
that?
Yes.
I kept going. I went to my doctor 3 times, and I went like, I can't do what I used to do. I used to do this and this and this. And he you never even tested me. He goes, you're getting old. You can't do that stuff anymore. Never tested me. And I actually, and you were there,
Yes.
remember?
Yes.
Went to the big Naga tournament, and the first matches, the first division is no gi.
Yes.
And I was had no cardio. I was on the floor at one point. Our guy stand up, get up. I couldn't even get up. I was so exhausted. And I didn't know why. I just went, oh man, my cardio is terrible these days. And then the second match was the gi. And I went, man, my cardio is so bad. I'm going to have to come out and tap somebody like as hard as I can right away. And I came out and tapped everybody. The last guy I took down to take first place, he was actually, as I was taking him down, he saw my other matches before that. He said, don't hurt me. I'm taking him out and don't hurt me. Okay, I'm tapping now. But that medal I kept, you talked about, you know, how do you feel after doing something? I had leukemia. I literally didn't really have much of anything for blood in my system. That's why I had no cardio. And I didn't know it. I won that first place in that gi one.
That's so badass.
Completely. There's no way.
That's why he's Master D. He's a legend, guys.
There's no way I should have won, except for technique from you. That I came out and went, okay, I'm going to have to do this.
I think it was just me. I think it was you, man.
But that medal I put in my best one. The other ones are like, okay, I won.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
whatever.
the-
But that one, there's no way I should have took first place on that one. I did not know. And then a few days later, I actually went in the emergency room because I had these weird pains, and the doctor accidentally took a blood test. And he looked at the screen and he said, wow. And I go, what's the wow about? He goes, man, I've been in the doctor business for a long time. Never saw blood numbers this low before. It's like you like don't have any blood. And I go like, huh, well, what does that mean? Well, it usually means you have leukemia.
Fuck.
Stay in the room, I'll be back. And I'm sitting there going, leukemia, what's that again? I don't know. He comes back and he goes, and I ended up doing 3.5 years of chemo. And I say jiu-jitsu saved my life because during this whole process that you don't wish on your whatever, but I got to know my doctor, you know, you that long, you got to know about a couple of years in. She goes, you know, we all decided that you're in a cult. And I went, what do you mean, a cult? He goes, tons of people show up in your room, you hug, you do kisses on the neck, and you talk weird and not relatives, and there's people lined up outside your room, and we decide you're in a cult. We just can't figure out what it is. And I go, I do jiu-jitsu. I told you that. I showed her a demo, and she goes like, you do that? Yeah. When you do this with somebody, you get that close to them, they're family. They're beyond family. But then she told me, he goes, you know, I don't tell everybody this, but you can handle it. We have meetings. We all get together in the hospital and we talk about patients and for what you had and how old you were and everything and how serious you had it. We have to decide yes, no, let you go off to hospice care and die. And he goes, everything in the book said he don't want to put somebody this old and has this and won't be able to do it. We all voted yes, that we're going to let you go through the torture. Because first off, it seems like you have this high tolerance towards pain, which jiu-jitsu teaches you, like, oh, a little pain, whatever. But secondarily, you add such an attitude about life and living, and your pain tolerance is like non-existent and stuff. He goes, we all decided that you could handle it, so we decided to let you go through 3.5 years of chemo. Oh, and he goes, we normally should have sent you off to die. So jiu-jitsu literally saved me because of jiu-jitsu.
Fucking love you, man.
Yeah.
You know I love you, right? I got lots of respect for
I
you.
love you too.
I have lots of respect.
So when somebody says that, I say jiu-jitsu saved my life. If it wasn't for that attitude, they would have sent me out, oh, whatever. And it was funny too, when I finally started coming in the waiting rooms, I'd see all these other people and they looked like death warmed over. And they went, you just are doing great. And you want any pain stuff? He goes, no, I don't need that stuff. It's okay, it's pain. But you learn that kind of stuff in jiu-jitsu. You learn that it's almost like a meditative state sometimes. You know what it's like.
Yes.
That you go, hey, I'm doing this, and this is only this, and this does this. But it's all, and you get used to.
It's tough.
Some people go, oh, I got a little paper cut. Yeah.
Deal with it, right?
Are you gonna die?
Yeah. Are you gonna die? No.
So you went for the 3 years and a half, and
Yes.
I know you told me they would put a needle on your spine. Tell us a little bit about
They had
that.
a drill into my spine, and the first time they did it, they knocked me out, and I was like flaky for the next day and a half because the drugs get in you, and I was taking all the other drugs too. And I asked my doctor, does anybody ever do it without knocking them out? And he goes, why you ask? Because, well, do I need to do that? And I go, well, it hurts a lot. People just take the drug. Why don't you take the drug? Well, it messed me up for a bunch of days. Can I do that? He goes, well, you can if you want. Okay. I went like, okay. She goes, wait, I'll actually do it now for you if you want. So she personally came in. I didn't have to do another appointment, waste another day. She drilled into my thing, into my spine. And yes, it was extremely painful.
Oh, I bet. Fuck.
But it was only for, like a minute. It was gone. So, and she goes, now we know you could do it too. So we'll do it next time for those. She had to do a bunch more during my whole, 3.5 years. But the last one she had to do, it slipped. And it didn't give a good sample.
Oh.
So she said, I'm really sorry.
Oh, mother.
I'm going to have to drill again.
Oh, mother. I would choke
Okay.
that son of a gun.
And she does the second one. Guess what?
Slipped again?
Not a good sample again.
Oh,
Oh,
my
shit.
God.
She says, I am super sorry. And I'm going like,
Oh, really?
I just did 2 of those. That's getting towards my limit.
Oh, my God.
And she goes, okay, we got to go for a third one. You going for it? Yeah. She does a third one. And the third one, thank God, she got. But it's like, if she would have said a fourth, I would have said, okay, we're going to have to go out.
Yeah, give me the pain med.
Yeah.
But
That kind of stuff too. She goes, she told me later, you're the only person that's done that.
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't have to do that. I could have been knocked. It was funny the first time I did it by a little sideline. Professor Mike, he's so funny.
Mike
He's in the
Thomas.
room, and they knocked me out, and the nurses were all around me doing the drill thing. And I popped my head up. I somehow became conscious while they were drilling it.
Jesus.
Totally out. Popped my head up, and I yelled out, and I go, is she blonde? And and the old doctor said, "What did he say?" And Mike said, "Nothing."
Well, as you know, Master D, his nickname is Master D, not just for, beating cancer, beating, 20, 30 years old young kids. But Master D is the Master D because also the girls. He's the Brad Pitt in Brazil. This guy is the guy. He's the playboy. Right, D?
Maybe.
Don't get silent now.
You beat cancer, and how long it's been since that last shot?
Well, it was 2010 I was diagnosed with it, so 2013, 14.
Thank God.
So it's been
About 6
6 years, yeah.
Nice.
That's
They said it'll never come back because they do that long to make sure it's gone.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's crazy. My dad had cancer too, and you remember stuff. I know your mom had it, and unfortunately she passed. And I know cancer is something that it's like we don't want to talk about it because you have someone in your family that
It's
did
funny.
pass, and that's so sad.
It's because of jiu-jitsu too. You just get used to your body and controlling your emotions, and what you think and stuff like. Because I remember a long time ago, somebody did a scan.
I just think you're unique. You don't understand that. I just think you're unique.
What's that?
I just you're unique.
Very unique because
That emotions and pain is actually learned. It's not something that's there.
Maybe you felt a lot more pain in jiu-jitsu than I did. I'm just saying that.
No, you were. I saw it in your face. What happened when I do privates with him? Luis can tap me in 2 seconds.
Whatever. I don't think it's.
But what was really cool about him, and I tell other people this, I learned nothing if you go and tap me at the left and right.
Yeah.
And if you totally wimp out, again, don't learn anything. But you have that line, you know where we're doing it, you know what we just worked on, and you go, at some point you go, make it a little harder. Come down to equal level, go a little bit lower, and you float around that level, and you know where that level is that I can do it. And sometimes I'll pause and you go like, remember from today? Oh yeah, do that move, and you've got your place in that place where I can do that move. And that's helped me a tremendous amount because it doesn't no good to beat somebody up. And, that was humiliating. What did I learn? You would adjust, but during that time, I would crush you, and you go like, I'm not getting paid enough.
Never, ever. It's not good to have this big boy on top of you, especially knowing how to deliver the pressure. So it's not good at all. So how long you been so far?
120.
Okay.
120.
So we pretty close. To wrap it up, I want to talk about your gym, right?
Okay.
Once again, man, lots of respect. Thank God, you made it through. I know, it's a tough. I would say, cancer is the toughest fight ever for everybody in his life. It's something that it takes a lot of the people that we love, unfortunately, and it's something that we gotta live with. And I feel like the way the world is, how people eat, how people live, with the stress and the amount of bad things that is around this world, man, it's so much easier for people actually, to have cancer because it's an imbalance. Your body, instead of being alkaline, your body is acidic, and that's how you start developing, bad blood, and eventually, become cancer. Or it just happens in your family, and you're kind of right there, but we know that we all have cancer cells, and we can feed those cancer cells with sugar and bad things, or we can starve the cancer cells to die, and that's when you eat alkaline products. And that's something that is extremely important that people really don't care. I feel like there's a lot more people that thinks about eating and fitness and all that stuff.
When I stayed down in your house and your mom made
Yes.
the best of the best. It was simple stuff. Beans, Brazilian beans, rice, salads. It's like, it tasted so good.
And it's so easy, man. I always feel like, Big Chris, now he kind of cooks the same way I cook, in my house with my boys. And it's like, what are you doing, bro? Oh, I'm cooking rice. I show him what to do, how to do it. So once again, man, everything, you can provide people the right tools. You know what I'm saying? But it's you, the one that has to get the tools and get it done. I show other people what to do, and they're still eating shit. You know, and then it's like, hey, that's not my fault, man. You know,
You just have to have your mother cook for them.
She won't. Trust me. If she will cook someone, it'll be for me and my boys, and maybe my dad. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the gym. I know one of our black belts in the association, Thales Blazo, at the time he moved to Dubai to work there, and then you bought the gym from him. And I want to know the location on your gym in Madison. So please tell us the address of the name.
You can look it up on the website, Fight Prime Training Center, and go out there. You can. The best thing I got the phone number there. This is all I do. I answer the phone almost 24/7.
Nice. What's the number?
608-665-2155.
Okay. And once again, what is the website?
Fight Prime TC, as in training center.com.
Okay.
Fight Prime, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie.com.
Sweet.
And some of the things that I do there, because I love it, just in general, I love everything. Some people go, hey, this art that I do, this is all we do. It is the best. I think it's the best to have lots of weapons in your thing. I started out with the stand-up stuff. I got older and slower. Jiu Jitsu came along. Jiu Jitsu is my favorite now. I see a lot of people that are brand new come in. When I started, a lot of people came from something else, John's gym. But I have a lot of things there and a lot of class time, so I have lots of Jiu Jitsu there. Our judo instructor has 50 plus years experience. That guy's funny, by the way. He moved down to Georgia and he lost his relationship, his job, was depressed, came back to Madison. And I went, you're gonna teach judo? And he goes, I can't. I'm old, I'm fat, my hips are bad, my knees are bad, my back's bad. I go, but you can coach. And he starts doing it and there's a spark in his eye again.
Nice.
And I feel really good about that.
That is awesome.
Because he didn't, you see somebody like that smile.
And
the people that go with him, I have to warn them, okay, he's this. I have to tell them about it because they'll see him go, whoa, this guy's going to do this too? I don't know. And then they come back and go, that guy knows lots of stuff.
That's awesome.
And it goes, because, football, the Green Bay Packers or something, the coach can't sit in the line anymore. He can't run and do that, but he knows
what to do,
how to do that.
Of course.
Yes.
And that's our job.
Yes.
So Chris, anything else that you want to ask about?
No, it was just a pleasure to meet you. I heard a lot of stories about you over the years and everything from Thiago, and some good ones, some funny bad ones.
Well, but just remember, there's a lot of stories that we can't not say in the podcast.
And those are the ones I heard.
The good ones.
And they're almost true.
Yeah.
Almost.
There's more to the story, not less.
Yeah, exactly. There's always more.
Oh my God. So
there's so many stories.
Once again, what's the website, please?
Fight Prime, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie.com.
Okay. And what's the number again?
And the phone number's on the website, but it's 608-665-2155. What I was going to say too is we have judo, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai is we have an awesome instructor, extremely good leader. There we have Krav Maga too.
Nice.
We have all those things, one simple price. Just keep it simple. All our other instructors all train jiu-jitsu. They all say, awesome. I do my thing first, but they all come and they all do jiu-jitsu too.
Nice.
And they wouldn't. And that's part of the thing too. Somebody will come, maybe they want to do the kicking, standing one. Hey, one day they go, what's that thing that I said I'll never do? That thing where people said at each other, what's that thing called again? It's jiu-jitsu. I think I want to try that now. Nice. So I have a way. They don't have to go to our gym. I bring people over, and some of them go the other direction too. But a lot of people, they have choices. Maybe they can't even make the correct time, but they have another way.
Nice.
And they come out.
Nice.
I had an MMA guy once, he's doing an MMA class, so the women from Muay Thai that I kept saying, go to jiu-jitsu, and they go someday. The first bunch of classes he did, all jiu-jitsu. So I went, how was the jiu-jitsu class? You're right. First 5 minutes, very uncomfortable. Then it was cool.
It is true. So once again, Master D, it's a pleasure to have you here. I think people will love this. Make sure when you talk about it, when you post on your page, when you put on Facebook, on all your social media, make sure they go check us out on YouTube.
Yes.
The Jiu
Like and
Jitsu,
subscribe.
like and subscribe. So the Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. Subscribe, like us, and
And when, Luis's gyms, he owns 2 down here in Schaumburg and Barrington, that's only a couple hours away.
Yeah.
yes.
So, I came down here to do something with my car a little bit, and I was going to go home, and I went, I'll call these guys. Nope, I'm here for 4 days doing a podcast
Yep.
now.
Watching the fights yesterday.
And watching
everything.
the fights yesterday, and having a good time and breaking away from the mold.
Yep.
And that happens a lot with these guys. It's like jiu-jitsu, you flow with life.
There you go, baby.
Yes.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
You're part of the family, D. Thank you so much for coming, my brother.
It was a pleasure.
God bless
man.
you.
Thank you.
God bless you too.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank everybody.
For listening. Check us out. Facebook, YouTube, all the podcast platforms. The Jiu Jitsu Legends podcast. Thanks. Take care.
Os.